Hi guys, Blackie, and we're out at the range again, as you can tell. And I've come out to do some more with the muzzle-loading rifle, and I'm using my 50 caliber CVA mountain rifle, Daniel. But I also wanted to show you this because I didn't cover this. And that's going to be my traditional type carrying. This is how I carry in the field when I'm going to be out there not just hunting, spending some time. And that's going to be my powder horn and my shot bag. Okay. Now the shot bag on the back of it, and this is a leather bag that I created back in the mid-80s. It's got a small patch knife on it for cutting the patch at the muzzle. And there were a lot of matches in those days you had to shoot from the bag. Now this is the bag that I traditionally carried in woods matches, rendezvous and living history, etc. Some of the accoutrements in here, most of the accoutrements actually for a 50 caliber flintlock, so will not apply to this CVA mountain rifle. But like this little device, it's a small powder flask with a depressible plunger that has 4F priming pads for priming my flintlock. I have a tool set here, screwdriver and things for working with a flintlock. If you do, you're going to need this. But you'll see this later whenever I get around to shooting my flintlock for the muzzle-loading rifle. This little device is a magazine for the rifle. Okay, what this is the patched round ball already on greased patches, and there's the ball in there, pushed through this hard maple block and leaving it slightly depressed. Proud, sticking out. And what that means is I can dump the powder charge, and then I can just simply sit this over the end of it and drive it home with my rammer and load it without having to take it out of the block. So it acts like a magazine. It hooks to a buttonhole up here in my strap. So I would take my powder measure, which is on the powder horn. I told you how I got this horn. This is the one I won from the Make 'em Cry story about the tomahawk. That's how I got this horn. And then right here in this strap, and I finger wove this strap, is a River Cane powder measure that throws 60 grains of powder, which is the target load for my 50 caliber Southern Mountain Rifle flintlock. When you first open the flap, the first thing you're going to come upon is that loading block. That way I can take it and hook it up here high up onto my strap. So all I got to do is dump powder, pour into the powder measure, pour in the barrel, throw this up on top of the muzzle, and ram it home. Quick and easy. I also have a small leather pouch that I made in there that holds about, I think 30 of the 50 caliber round ball that I home cast. Now if you'll notice, they're kind of frosty looking. That's because I went ahead and lubed them. I like to lube them ahead of time. And so what I do is I roll these in the lubricant and I let it dry before I put it in here. Yes, I'm going to use lubricant on the patch, but I wanted these lubed as well. So if for any reason a patch tore or something on the way down or the way out, the ball's got a little bit of lubrication on it, okay? And it made it easy. Now notice that's not a very big shot pouch, because in target shooting the matches were usually like 10 rounds, 20 rounds, something like that. And so I wanted 30 rounds with me. And for a hunt, you're only going to shoot once or twice. So you could even carry less. And a lot of times my hunting loadout for this was the powder horn and then just simply a loading block to carry with me, preloaded and ready to go. Because that way I could just swing it up there, boop, 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 and go. See, super fast. No need to spend a lot of time on it. Plus in hunting, you're not carrying a lot because I'm not going to be shooting a lot. This isn't a match or whatever. But for the living history where you carried everything on you, you normally have your pack basket or your bedroll or your blanket on your back, and you were in living history costume. This is what I carried as my shooting accoutrement to carry out there. Now you will also find in here small little bag containing little tools and things I may need. what we call the turn screwdriver for dismantling the gun, dismantling the lock. This is a flint safe, and again I'll go over all this when I do my flintlock rifle, but I carry extra flints. And then you're going to have patching material and a little tin that contains lubricant ready to go, so I can just pop this open and re-lube patches or whatever, or address the lock, or do anything to take care of my gun. And since this was natural tallow, I could also use it for leather dressing and stuff like that. That's the basis of what I carried in my little shot bag. It's not very big, it's not very, bulky, and that was the whole idea. They didn't carry a whole lot. And it's got an internal pouch right there, and that's where, in the front of that is where the balls go, so I could grab them quickly. It's also where the primer laid across the top. The tool kit was tucked down toward the back to lay flat, and then finally the short starter was right there. All of that rode in that kit, just like that. And since the powder horn and all curved, I wore it as a unit. These are two separate straps, but it's something that I made up. Made it for a quick, easy load and shooting. So that is how I carried in the field. I had somebody asking about that, about back when I was doing muzzle loading and living history, how did I carry? Well, that's how I carried it. Really, Mark Baker was the one that I started reading him back in the 80s in Muzzleloader magazine. And he wrote extensively about the shot pouch and how your accoutrements should match, and how that in historic time period they didn't carry a lot. They carried in the shot bag. This is not a haversack, that was something separate. But in the shot pouch, if it didn't make the gun go bang, it didn't go in there. They didn't carry extras, because anything extra would go into the haversack. So this is what they dropped the haversack when battle began, or they drop whenever they're having, the shooting or whatever. That's like modern day where they drop their packs and just keep their combat load. Well, what was in that shot pouch and that powder horn? There was enough powder in the powder horn to shoot any bullet you had plus. And you also, which I don't have in this one, I had a little bag mold. It was a 50 caliber bag mold, and I also carried a little ladle so I could melt and make ammunition at a campfire at night if I had a source of lead that I could pick up. And being at these shoots, a lot of times once the shooting was over, I'd just walk down to the shooting range to the backstop and I'd pull out some lead and be sitting there in the campfire making Mars ammunition. Worked really well. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Please hit that like button if you do, and there'll be more coming in the Muzzleloading Rifles series. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.